Hey everyone, Mike from LA1 here. Let's talk about... My batteries are being low. Okay. Okay, no. Anyway, let's talk NASCAR silly season. Of course, Chase Elliott missed the playoffs for the first time in his career. Kind of sucks. But first off, we're going to start with the 10 car. We don't know what's going to happen with the fate of this car, considering how awful Stewart-Haas Racing has been outside of Kevin Harvick. But if I have to guess, this might be Almirola's last year. But my gut feeling is that Smithfield will probably leave the team as well. But with reports saying that Harrison Burton will likely take over the 21, stay at the 21 car, which wouldn't shock me if that actually does happen. So my gut is this. If they haven't talked to him already, I would not be shocked that we may see Riley Herbst get this ride, or Zane Smith. It depends on the breaks here. Or that charter may very well be sold. Potentially to probably one of the picks to get that second charter, none other than 2311. A team that has been going through a lot of growth over the past years. I mean, both their drivers made the playoffs for the second year in a row, and Tyler Reddick just won today in Kansas, so congrats to him. And Bubba Wallace made the playoffs for the first time in his career. Even though this is not going to be the year he's not going to make it far, he is developing something. But again, 2311 needs to sort out the pit crew, because mainly on the 23 side, because that 23 team still can't make a good stop worth of shit. Although, to be fair, I think today was a tire issue that pretty much screwed up Bubba's day. Well, at least he still has Bristol to work with. And we may very well see a big choke job if Truex somehow misses the playoff. Gets eliminated in the first round. So yeah, I think if Stewart-Haas decides to sell within the next year, don't be shocked if 2311 is going to be very aggressive, because Denny did state he wants to expand to a third car. And speaking of Mr. Hamlin, there was a lot of talk. There was definitely a lot of talk that he was going to leave Gibbs the same way Kyle Busch did to go to RCR. In fact, there was reports that 2311 officials were talking to Ford. But thankfully, Toyota could breathe a sigh of relief. Just a few short days ago, the Chesterfield, Virginia native signed a multi-year extension to stay with 2311. To stay with Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, that's almost a dead-on sign. That clear indication that 2311 will also stay in the Toyota camp, which is a huge sigh of relief. Okay, now let's get to the obvious spot. Who's going to take over this 15 car? Because I have a feeling Justin Haley is probably going to take the 51. So my gut feeling is it's probably going to be the other rotational driver, guys like Yaley, Custer taking that ride. So that's probably my best gut feeling for the Rick Ware Racing 15 car. Now, we have to address the elephant in the room. We gotta talk about the 31. With Justin Haley going to Rick Ware Racing, no, I'm not gonna call this shithole racing, because I'm starting to think Rick Ware is taking this Cup team seriously now that Cody Ware is outshone the guy is a fucking idiot. So the 31 is interesting. In fact, I think the 16 is also available, but I think the odds of both seats being available are kind of low. So I have two people considering for the 31 car. The first one, obviously Noah Gragson. But on the other hand, there was a big discussion in the truck series that Rackley War and Matt DiBenedetto have cut ties. So could we see Matt DiBenedetto return to the Cup Series in this ride? However, because if DiBenedetto or someone else gets the 31, because Matt Colling and Tim and Rice had said the deal's done. So, I think whoever doesn't get this ride might end up going to may very well go to Junior Motorsports to take over Josh Berry's ride. So if Gregson gets it, don't be shocked. Matt DiBenedetto goes to Junior Motorsports. Or could it be Carson Hocevar? I don't know. But we'll get to him in a second. Of course, the big surprise other than RFK is front row. Both drivers re-upped for another season, which is kind of surprising because McDowell is still the guy under the radar, flying under the radar, including scoring that big win at Indy earlier in the year. And Todd Gilliland continuing to develop very nicely. Can't believe it. And probably the most unsurprising news of them all, we now know that John Hunter Nemechek will take over the 42 Legacy Motor Club Toyota next year. Jeez, it's going to be so bizarre seeing that 43 car in a Toyota. It's going to be very interesting to see how Nemechek goes, especially if this is the end for Truax, which, yes, he signed up for another year. Could Nemechek leave Legacy after 1 year just to take over the 19? We'll have to wait and see on that. Oh, yes, the 77 Aspire Motorsports.